February 8th, meeting of the Richland County Public Works Standing Committee. Roll call, please. Lisa.
Present are Josh Elder, Lisa Muller, Taryn Weber, Randy Nelson, Barb Scott, Steve Carroll, Richard McKee, Chad Cosgrove, Mark Cooley, Candace Pesh, Steve Williamson. Not present, Gary Manning and Julie Fleming and Dan McGuire.
I did talk to Gary. He is home recuperating. Nobody online, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Proof of notification, Mr. Elder.
It was properly notified and posted, Mr. Chair.
Agenda approval, item number 4. Anybody need to move anything? We don't have anybody that needs to leave early. If not, we'll take them in order. Approve the agenda as presented. Mr. Cosgrove.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. McKee. All those in favor of approving the agenda as presented signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right. Previous minutes from last month's meeting. Any additions or corrections? Anybody? If not, I would approve them as presented. Public comment. Anybody from the public? That was discussed again yesterday. We may want to look at whether we want to continue to have public comment on our meetings. Andy will talk to us about that. Number 7, administration, property management, Mr. Nelson.
Okay, I've only got 4 items here. We had a honeydew list up to the campus at Melville Hall. The ladies out there, once they moved in, they've had a lot of things they want hung up, shelving, mailbox, whatever out there. Went out, took care of that today. We got all 12 items done. So that's all taken care of. We had a question about a sign in the parking lot for the delivery drop off because of a ADA question, people parking in front of the handicap spots with the delivery trucks, FedEx, UPS, so on and so forth. Last week I ordered a sign. I received it on Tuesday and I hung it up on Tuesday. So it is out there. And it says delivery drop-off zone, stay back 50 feet. That gives them ample coverage for people to get in the ramp, to get into the parking spots. Hopefully all the FedEx trucks and UPS trucks will abide by it. I will mention it to them when I see their drivers. So that's taken care of. We have 2 other kind of major problems in the building. We had another pump motor go out in the boiler room. The last one, of course, that was 41 years old, finally went out. So I've got it all tore out. A new one is ordered. It will be here probably next week and seal and everything, and I'll get it all put back in. That'll be taken care of. The other one was we have in the penthouse up above where all the air handlers are at. We have a coil up there that is leaking, the cooling coil. That coil, I'm not sure what the price is going to be yet, but we replaced one 2 years ago in the lower unit. There's 2 coils in each air handler, a heating coil and a cooling coil. They're estimate they're probably 10 inches wide, 3 foot high by 5 foot long. These 2 are 8 feet in the air, the one that's leaking. And of course, it has to be the farthest one back in the unit. Well, you have to take the heating coil out in order to get to the cooling coil. So with that, my suggestion is I've got the money in my buildings budget. Let's replace both of them at the same time because we're probably gonna end up damaging the first one and we'll end up having a leak as soon as we get it all put back together. So replace both of them at the same time because they're both 8 feet in the air and we gotta tear the whole air handling system apart. So the plan is to, once we get the numbers for the coils, that we will plan like in April, end of April, first part of May, before that weather, before it's hot, cold, that plan on putting them in at that time. And again, I've got the money in my budget for the buildings budget to cover that. So just wanted to notify you that I think we should probably do both, but I want to get your blessing for that second coil. We're probably going to have 6,000-7,000 in that project, I'm guessing.
I would have them quote them both, quote them separate, just so you got.
Well, I'll quote the coil separate. I'll do it as the coil and the labor for the original one, and then I'll have them quote them both together with labor also.
And my other question is there a shut off you can turn off to cool it?
I've already did. we've already done that. We've
I think
already,
we probably
because
have.
it was leaking and we had it coming out the overflow, so we shut it, we bypassed it, and so that coil is no longer leaking and we're not losing water now, so.
Mr. Carroll has a question?
Yeah, are you able to tell why it leaked, what happened?
It's just it's just like a radiator. So it's basically the bottom side is probably rusted inside and it's leaking through the fins. And there's no access to it. You have to pull it out to get to it.
Is there some kind of, water pH?
We have conditioner going through all of our system. We have Kramer Water Service. They are running conditioner through everything. So we got filter systems in, everything's clean. So this has been in since 1982. So it's 41 years old, and
Okay,
so it's made it that long, and I think we're doing pretty good with it.
My other question would be to get another quote on the second pump. We have no backups right now, right?
On the pumps?
Yeah,
No, we have two running right now. We
but I
only
mean, do
need-
you have any backups?
Yeah, this is the backup one that I'm replacing.
Okay.
The backup pump is the third one, that's a backup one.
Perfect.
So,
Good.
Yeah.
Anybody else with questions for Randy? I would say, yeah, go ahead with whatever you had planned and we'll address it at a future meeting.
Okay.
You're through, Mr. Nelson?
Yep, that's it.
We will move to Mr. Elder, number 8.
Okay.
So-
Um,
Tree removal from the campus.
Okay, all the trees have been removed as far as my right, Steve? All of our trees are done. Okay, just confirm.
Unless you got the last one I marked.
I'm pretty sure we did. But, yeah, all the trees have been, cut down and removed, and most of the brush too, except for what was left over in the snow that will come back later and do the final cleanup. And then we have moved on to, stump grinding. All the stumps have been ground down. We're in the process of actually cleaning up the wood chips as it currently stands right now. As things start to firm up, we'll come back in and do the final, put back up all the dirt and then seed mulch everything and, clean everything up. But right now, we're just working on a stump removal from the campus.
The question was brought up for those that were, some of you guys weren't here when we did the interviews for the RFP people for the public or the out at the campus, if we were gonna plant trees again, but not yet because we don't know where we're going in the future with the property. So if we plant trees somewhere, they may be in the road for a future project, so. But it was a good question, so. Letter 8B, Gunderson Eye Clinic parking lot use. Yeah, I got nowhere with that.
Okay.
We'll move it forward. The next month. I'll see if I can find somebody to contact. Signage for delivery drop off, that was, Randy already covered that? Yep. Good, perfect. Discussion, the highway department, 2024 seal coating aggregate bids in your folder.
Is that on there?
Hi.
Head on 9-8. So this is what we do every year. At the start of the year, we put out for our bids for like everything that we're gonna do in the year, like seal coating, emulsions, culverts, so on and so forth. So we'll start with the aggregate. That's the material that we use for the county roads on seal coating. A couple years ago, we changed over to, its nickname is Pink Lady, but it's a 3/8 quartz wash chip. And then, wait for it to get on the screen here.
It'll be just hot second.
Okay. Basically, what we do is we figure out the tonnage that we are going to do for the year, and, so briefly, we're gonna do 15.48 miles worth of road. We're gonna do County Road I to County Road B, 8.21 miles, County Road A to County Road Q, 5.16 miles, Highway 171, County Double I from County I to B, Double D to County Road A to Q, and County Road UU from 171 Double K, and that's 2.11 miles. So in total, that gives you 15.48 miles. So the estimated tonnage chips,
You at 9A?
yep. So 2,913.01 tons of chips, and we have that set, so it's hauled and delivered to the county highway shop. We put out the RFPs to suppliers in the area. We received 2 bids back. One was from Milestone Materials, the other one was from Farner. Milestone came in at, leave it up just to, there you go. 32.15 per ton, delivered, and then scroll down, Barb. And Farners came in at $29.75 per ton, so my recommendation is to receive the chips delivered to the highway department from Farner Asphalt. Mr. Chair.
Questions on the bids, quotes as presented? Any, otherwise I would entertain a motion. Mr. Cooley. Mr. Carroll seconds it. Any further discussions on the bids for the aggregates? If not, all those in favor of accepting Farner's bid at $29.75 a ton for 2,913.01 tons, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. All right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Next item, Mr. Elder, we have seal coating, emulsions.
Emulsions.
Yep.
Same thing. It's the oil that we use that we actually lay down on the road that the chips go on top of, and that basically adheres it to the surface of the road and binds everything together. So we put out the bid for that to the same companies we normally do. Miggs and Farner responded back. Miggs oil came in at $2.73 per gallon, and that would be with the application rate included of 0.34 cents a gallon. And then scroll down. And then the other one went to Farner. Now Farner partners up with Flint Hills. Flint Hills provides the liquid material and Farner does the application. And so Farner came in at 41 cents for the application, but then they turn around and save through Flint Hills. Can you scroll down, please, Barb? At $2.11 a gallon. So combined, that's only $2.50 cents. So my recommendation is for Farner, partnered with Flint Hills for the emulsions, Mr. Chair.
I would entertain a motion to accept one of the bids if you guys have any discussions. If not, we'll accept the low bid as Mr. Elder suggests. Questions, Mr. Cooley, any questions on it?
Question.
Okay, Mr. Cooley makes a motion, seconded by Mr. Cosgrove, to go with Farner for the emulsions. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. All right, emulsions is taken care of. Go back, agenda. And now we're going to culvert pricing, 9C, culvert pricing.
Put the RFP out for culverts. How we bid out the culverts is the diameter of culvert, the gauge of steel, and then we ask for the price per foot because that's how we get our culvert pricing. And then you also see the bands and end walls, which we always try to keep in stock as well. The two bids we received back were from Contact and then Metal Culverts. Contact, if you'd have to compare your sheets side by side, and you'll see that Contact usually came in a dollar, if not more, per foot. So my recommendation is to go with Metal Culverts, who was our supplier last year, Mr. Chair.
Questions on information presented? Not, I would entertain a motion to go with Commissioner Elder's suggestion of, would you tell me? Which one did you tell me?
Metal Culverts.
Metal culvert. Same ones we had last year.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. McKee, I'll second that motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. All right. We have culverts for another year. On contract. Back up. Pulverizing. D.
So this will be for the pulverizing of County Road BB. We are doing this project in-house this year. Because of the County Road O project coming up down the road, I'm limiting us to only doing, 1.06 miles of road this year because of the anticipated cost of the O project in total, plus the park recovery that we're having to pay for this year for the O project. So pulverization, for those of you who don't know, is a process where they come in with a large machine and they grind up and pulverize the existing road surface down to basically gravel. And then with this bid, we also asked them to do hydro, that basically adds water compaction back to it. So they will take care of the complete pulverization of the road. They'll add water emulsions back into it. They'll grade it out for us and roll it. So basically all I have to do is come in and touch a few things up and lay new blacktop down. The two bids we received back were from WK Construction, totaling $22,688. And please scroll down, Barb. And And then from Tri-County Paving for $36,450. My recommendation is to go with WK. We worked extensively with them in the past and they performed really well and they stand by their prices. They don't change their prices, so. Go with WK for this one, Mr. Chair.
Questions on the pulverizing bids? If not, I would entertain a motion to accept WK's bid for the pulverizing. Mr. Carroll, seconded by Mr. McKee. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. All right, pulverizing is taken care of. We are up to agenda item bills, right? Reports, administrative report, number 10.
So as previously stated, we're primarily in tree cutting and brush clearing mode right now. We've been working a lot over at the campus and then we're also doing brushing along county roads and state roads for Mr. Lonnie Hatch. Then we're also trying to get back to the Pine River Bike Trail as soon as the ground firms up enough to do so. The question has also been brought up about road bans. We do not have any frost currently underneath the roads. This was kind of an odd year just because how warm it was. So we didn't have that normal freeze thaw cycle. I've been in communications with Crawford and Vernon. Vernon will only post for 1 week due to a large logging operation, but otherwise they would not. Crawford are at this point taking the stance as we are. We are not going to post the roads unless, conditions change. So right now there will be no weight bans in the forecast. Other than that, it's just standard stuff at the shop and brush clearing, Mr. Chair.
We don't have anything on there about firewood. We'll put that on next month. Figure out what we're gonna do with that firewood.
Yeah, we can handle it. I mean, there's a lot that kind of goes into that.
Okay. Yep, we'll put that on the agenda items for next month. All right, anybody with questions to Mr. Elder about what our guys have been doing because they haven't had a lot of snow to plow? That's all right, saves on our budget, and Mr. Cooley takes it from us.
That's right. Get prepared.
All right, let's go into the bills.
So what I've been preparing you for is the County Road O project. We've issued checks now to all the landowners on that. We purchased all right away without having to go into any condemnation. So I signed the last of the paperwork yesterday afternoon and the last of the checks went out for the purchase of the right of way. So that is the bulk of what you see on this month's bills is to pay for that land acquisition. Everything went pretty smooth. We feel like we got fair prices for all the land that we needed to purchase. Any other large ticket items, obviously we had some chips that we had to pay for that we added into our screen pile. The 20,000 from Burke truck equipment was for snowplow blades. We like to keep stock on those. We try to get them sooner the better. Gruber Consulting, that's our right-of-way negotiations. So he handles all of our paperwork, everything. Basically, all I have to do is do a final approval and cut checks for him. Mr. Chair.
Anybody with questions on the bills as they are presented?
Is that all the land acquisitions?
That is all 100% of the land acquisition for that project. There will be another round of checks coming out because federal standards dictate that we prorate their taxes for the year. And some of those checks are gonna be as small as 5 cents, but we
Yep.
have to cut them a check for it. So,
Because we become the owner. At what time do we take ownership? We have taken ownership?
we basically taken ownership now, but we still have to cut another round of checks to sort that taxes.
Yes. And then that has to be resurveyed, or are they going off of the
So
original?
that's done.
It's all good and done. Good. If there's nobody with questions on the bills, I entertain a motion to pay them as presented. Mr. Cosgrove? Second by Mr. Cooley. All those in favor of paying the bills as presented signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, nay. All right, bills are paid. Next agenda item. Go on, baby. MIS. Number 11.
Well, we have a lot of exciting things going on as always. New county website, we are still working with the vendor. That should be up in the next month, we're hoping. Dispatch, we had a setback with the new dispatch system. That has been delayed to the end of February at least. We're working with Motorola's engineers to fix a problem we have with phone lines. Zoning, we have implemented the new ESRI licensing, and I did get that cleared up this afternoon. So that's going well. Now they're working with shared licensing, which is like huge because we can share it with all the departments, not just zoning. It's just such a better model for us. We're working on a couple other projects that, you'll be hearing a lot more in the future. We're just starting to develop a couple of those. But things are very, very, very busy. We are still fully staffed. Quentin hasn't left us yet. He told us today though, yeah, he's still going, but we're gonna keep him as long as we can. And, mapping update, which is the next item, our radio tower. We are moving on this project. We've started with the leases with the landowners there. They will be finishing those. We're working with Edge Consulting on setting up the towers, like physically which way the legs point, and that honestly is a little beyond Barb. It's a very complex thing. We have selected all of the tower locations, which that is a very big piece of this puzzle. We have made the second payment on our project as we did accept DDR when we accepted all of our sites. There's one landowner that still hasn't communicated back. We think we're okay. He just asked for an adjustment on the tower location in relationship to his driveway. And so I know that Edge is working with him on designing that location. Other than that, things are finally starting to move. We've started with the archaeological surveys are going on, and we're starting with, I don't know what the bat surveys are called. The DNR surveys, I don't know what they're called. And FAA, I've been getting emails from them for the last 2 weeks, so we're getting approval on all the sites there. So we're definitely in the approval space. Once we get that, we will have very firm drawings and knowledge, but we've got to get the approval from the DNR, FAA, and archaeological studies.
So we're on track?
Very much on track.
Perfect.
Finally. Finally, I have excellent news.
Anyone with questions for Barb about the tower project or either MIS projects going on throughout the county? Mr. Carroll?
What do they provide for a backup for their invoice? How do you guys, I mean, you made payments, right?
Yep.
What are they using for confirmation of what's the completion date?
We have to sign off on the portion of where we're at. And there were set points that we agreed on when we signed into the contract. DDR was supposed to be done back in June, and we refused to sign off on it until just this past month because they had not met that point. So there are very specific line items, and I can get you a copy of that.
Can we just post the contract so we can all see it?
Yeah, I can throw it up into the admin docs if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll throw it into the admin docs. I'll work on that
Okay.
right away.
Good. Any other questions? Last item. Future agenda items. Firewood,
Firewood.
I'll see if I can make any contact with whoever owns that building next door. I thought of one other one as I came in the driveway, but it's gone now, so. Oh, well. Mr. Carroll?
Again, on the towers, I guess at some point it'd be good to clarify what this committee's role will be once they're county property. It seems to me it might be kind of complicated because there's public safety, there's MIS, there's physical stuff out in the field, so I
Yeah, I think Barb can, right now on the current towers, MIS is kind of a shared
Yeah, there is conversations that need to be had.
All right,
Right, that's what I'm saying. Right now, we're doing nothing. And I want to know if we're going to have responsibilities going forward.
And
Mr.
there
Chair.
will be.
We need to start working on that.
Administrator Pesh.
Well, I think as we talk through the committee structure, that may be an appropriate time to have that conversation as well. And that will be coming, the first meeting is on the 12th, where Andy Phillips will actually physically be here and we'll start having that dialogue. So that may be the time to really talk about where would that fall under that responsibility.
Yeah, don't forget to put that's Monday night, 5 PM here.
5 PM here.
Okay, anybody else with agenda items? No, we're good. If not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Somebody. Mr. Cooley,
I'll second this.
seconded by Mr. McKee. All those in favor of adjourning at 4:25 PM, signify by saying aye. Anybody opposed to adjourning? You lost 2 in a row, Nelson? Thank you all, but yes,